Why, hello! Welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I'm your hosting guide, Zollin Ironshield, and today I have a quick little fun video for RiseToWar on sieging. Okay, guys, so this might be a simple thing for some of my longtime viewers who played RiseToWar and completely understand this, but this may be for a newer player to RiseToWar who might need to know this, and if you want to join and watch for fun, awesome. But if you don't, that's fine too. Don't worry about it. But don't forget to do a like and subscribe, my friends, if you are new to the channel, and check out my other content as well. I do a lot of Lord of the Rings content on this channel, but I've been enjoying doing a lot of RiseToWar stuff. It's a great game, phone game. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about sieging. So what is sieging, you say? Okay, well, sieging is one of the biggest points of this game. This game plays like a risk board. Okay, so let me open up the world map just a little bit so you can see. Okay, so here's the world map, right? We're at the end of the season. Season's over. We're going to be going to season 3 in a week or two when they update it and refresh. We'll have to re-choose servers and merge and all that kind of stuff. Don't worry about that. We're talking about, you notice how there is different locations. If I hover different spots on the map, it shows you the region, right? And each region has a keep inside that region, okay? So I'm going to do this as simple terms as possible. The ring is one of the main objectives of the game. It's Dol Guldur. It's where the Ring of Power is, and it gives you a lot of points, all right? So we're just talking about sieging. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on other stuff. I just want you to understand how sieging works if you're new to RiseToWar. So basically, the biggest thing you have to know about sieging is the fact that that is how you move around the map, for one. For two, that is how you get any bonuses and resources or ring power, which are both important things. Don't mind that. My little light was just freaking out on me in the back. So we're going to talk about this. So again, these are special big targets on the map. These ones are smaller, and then these are capitals, the ones that look like this on the map. All right, so I'll go a little closer so you can see. Those are capitals. These little stars are points of interest that you can take over that give points, like Mordor, Sarathungol, the Tower of Sarathungol. These ones are more defensible. Osgiliath, they're bigger points. They're like keeps. They're like slightly better than the circles. The circles are just the generic keep. They're slightly weaker than the forts that are usually. Oh, well, that one's the same. It depends on the area. That one, see, these are the higher level armies here. But again, how does sieging work? Well, every keep, every dot on the map, and every land spot, so let me go back here. So every spot, so let's say I want to take over this square, right? Well, this square is a 1 power tile, so it's not very strong, right? So if I say march to attack it, it'll send troops from my base when I select a troop. And if you notice, the tile has a defensive of 130, right? So very weak compared to my army here that has almost 80,000, right? And then right here, it has another thing called siege damage, okay? So siege damage is going to come important thing. So there's 2 levels of attacking a fort and a tile. There's the army that's defending it, and then there is the health of the tile or building that you have to deplete to take it, okay? All right, does that make sense? All right, so basically when I attack this tile, first I have to defeat the armies there. There's only one out of 1 level 1 army in that tile. I defeat it, it's 130 power. The whole tile is 130 power. This might go up if it was 2 tiles, right? It'd be like 260, but that doesn't matter. So for example, if I went to this one, that's a 40 power tile, and I attacked it, look at the difference. All right, it's probably gonna still be 1 army. Yes, but now it's a level 10 leader, 1 army, 4,000 power. Again, be very easy for my army to take that because I'm in end game content, right? I mean, once you get to the end game, your armies are very powerful. And max level is 50 for a leader. So again, so you take it, you attack it, but then there's siege damage, okay? So it actually has HP. So this, when I attack something, oh no, it's not this page. So when you click on it, see this bar right here? It doesn't actually tell you, it says 1 of 1, but this actually is amount of health. It doesn't tell you, but it is an amount of damage. So for example, if I attack this tile with a very low power character with, let's say, eagles. Eagles are very fast, but they're not very powerful, right? So for example, let me attack this tile. Now, granted, here's something also that's interesting. I'll tell you in a moment so you don't freak out with too much information. But if I attack this tile with, let's say, a lower level hero, let's see, I have this is my lowest level Legolas right now, with an eagle, which is surprising because Legolas is awesome. But okay, so he's a lot weaker than this tile, so he's not going to beat the tile, right? But let me attack this one that's 1 power, okay? So now, if you can see, his army is a lot weaker than a lot stronger than the army, but his attack on the tile is only 250. So it should be no problem because of one special thing with sieging, you guys. When you're in your own territory, you do full damage. This is very important to know. A lot of people don't know this, okay? So I'm going to explain right now. Ready? When you're new to the game. So easy, I took it, no problem, right? So I killed the army that was in it. You can look at your report. So I killed the army very easily. I didn't lose anybody. And then I also did siege damage to the tile. It doesn't tell you that part with tiles. It only tells you that part with forts and fortresses, all right? But now, what if I wanted to take that same one tile in the land next door that's not mine, all right? So watch what happens when I try to attack the same one tile with only 5 eagles, okay? So let me attack one real close. I don't have to wait a long time. So I'm going to attack this one because this over this river isn't my land. But, guys, if you know the pathing of this game, I would only be able to travel over the river to this side if there's another tile that's my friend's, right? Someone in my faction, someone in my alliance, my fellowship, right? Or basically your guild, or one of, that kind of thing. So that's the only way I can travel across. Now, purple means someone that's in your faction. Blue means someone that's in your fellowship with you. Green are your own tiles. Red are everybody else's in the game that aren't on your faction, okay? So, attack. I'm going to attack this tile. I won't be able to attack this one, right? Can't attack it because it's not linked. That's good to know for sieging too, obviously. So now let me send a level 5 eagles with a low-level hero. So watch what happens. I'm hoping this example is the right example for you guys, but this is very important to know. If you notice when I click to attack, do you see this message right here on the top here? How it says siege damage, -70%, all right? Now, this is actually, example isn't gonna work for one reason. I will tell you why. What normally would happen here is you'd hit it, I would kill the army, but I wouldn't take the tile because the health bar would only be partially down. I wouldn't have enough damage to take the whole tile. But the reason I'm going to be able to take the tile is for the following reason. You get full siege damage in other places when you're in war. Now, for example, we are at war right now, right? So I know we're preparing for war. So my Legolas just killed the tile. It just did enough damage to take it. So again, watch. Let me attack this one. I'm going to show you. Got to get the right example for you guys. You're going to be like, what are you talking about? Yes, I know it's very powerful. So that's a warning. It's telling you the army's more powerful than my leader. All right. So Legolas might not even be able to beat the army that's on this tile, but it's kind of hard. I'd have to have the exact balance of units to have it happen. So he got defeated. But, so let me show you here. So he actually just lost outright. He wasn't able to beat the army on the tile. But basically what would happen is, if I beat the army completely, this tile actually wouldn't have gone down because it has a certain amount of HP, the tile. Each tile, depending on its strength. So, or actually, I take that back. All the tiles have a certain amount of health in other lands. It's just harder to take them. Really, this is what this comes down to is neutral keeps, monster keeps, and other forts, okay? So I really don't want to confuse you guys. I'm sorry. Don't want to confuse everybody. Let me find my monster keep. Okay, let me go over here. I have a beast camp, okay? And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So again, if you look at my beast camp, see how the beast camp has 200,000 health? So I had to defeat both armies in it, and then within an hour before those armies reset, I have to do 200,000 damage to it. Now, this was in a region that wasn't mine, owned by me, which this one isn't. And I tried to take it. I'd have to do 200,000 damage, -70%. So if my army did 100,000 damage when it hit, it would only do 30,000. So I'd have to hit it way more times. Now, if we were in a war state with the fellowship, that's why you call a war state at all, so you can attack full damage on other forts and other war beasts or other keeps. That's why you call a war state, okay, you guys? That's kind of the point, right? So again, the like for example, here's one of my forts, 250,000, right? When you upgrade it, this is a good example. This is a level 1 fort, right? When you don't upgrade it, just have 2 slots for leaders. This one has 6 slots, full upgrade, 450,000 health. Again, it'd be very hard for an enemy to kill this if it was my territory and they didn't have the war buff. They'd be doing 70% less damage to this. So it would take them a lot of hits to kill it with a really powerful sieging army. And again, if you look at your commanders, right? If you look at your commander's armies, they have a certain amount of siege damage, okay? So I'm going to go into this commander. You look up here, see how he has 142,000 siege? So he'd only do 30% of that if he was attacking a place that needed to do damage after. Again, this one's the one that matters when you're killing the army on it. This is the one we're talking about for sieging. This is the number that matters with the little catapult, okay? So there are some characters that are very good at sieging. There's quite a few. Iron Warriors are really good at sieging, obviously, if you're a dwarf. Tier 4 faction, but some of the best siegers are Ents are very good at sieging. They're very strong siegers, but again, you have to think about the numbers too. So they have a command unit of 2 of them in it, so they only do siege damage 900, but 2 of them. So it's pretty good. But again, Dwarven Guardians, those are the ones that everyone can get in the game that have a crazy amount of siege. So they do 20 siege times 100, right? Because there's 100 of them in a unit, so 20 times that, right? So it's pretty. They have pretty crazy high siege. For example, if I click on a leader that has a bunch of Dwarven Guardians, well, I don't have any right now, but I can make one with a bunch of Dwarven Guardians. Watch, I'll show you right now. Ready? All right. For example, so see Gothmog. So these are Iron Warriors, right? So if I wanted to up his Iron Warriors to max here, all right. So look at how much they 168,000 siege damage. That's great. Iron Warriors do a bunch of damage. But now what about I don't have any Guardians right now. But Iron Warriors are just slightly stronger. But again, they're a tier 4. You can only get them if you're area born, right? So everyone else is going to want to use Guardians if you're sieging, or Ents, or Bjornings. Those are all very powerful siege units. I think Guardians are the highest for units damage. But again, you max these guys out, Guardians will do like 40,000, I think, in a full group up with a level 50 hero, especially a leader, because he can have 5 more units of them, right? And again, if you're going to be sieging, one of the best heroes to use for sieging is Hirgon, right here. Because Hirgon, see, look at this group of just chemists. Oh, gosh, I'm glad I pointed this out. This is one of the strongest units to hire, you guys, for damage. I don't know what I'm talking about with Guardians. Guardians are super powerful. Those ones you can get early. But later in the game, if you can build, if you're not on a roleplay server, if you can build these units, which I think are technically an Isengard unit, or maybe all orc evil sides can use them. Anyway, chemists. They're really powerful. Let me show you out here. You can see how much damage he does, right? This one right here. It's this one. So you have to build a breaker lair. And it allows you to build these. And you get to the tier 3 unit, and they just do crazy damage to siege damage. That's kind of like their thing. And they do fire damage too, which are really good. But they're crazy siegers. And if you use Hirgon, if you look at Hirgon's tree for sieging, I'm giving you guys lots of info, I know. But this is important stuff. So if you go over here to Herald, you go down to this one right here, Logistics. This thing's powerful, you guys. Okay, I'm going to show you right now. Remember the number I just showed you with how much... siege damage that he does with the chemist? It was like 213,000 or something, right? Watch this. So if I put all 7 points into logistics, so it's plus 7 siege to all your units, right, in the army. So now if we look at his siege potential with those same chemists, that's why I use him as a sieger. Look at this. It's crazy. 262,000 now. He was at 213, right, which was still high compared to a full army of and remember, he's only level 47. He can have more in his group. But compared to the full army of Iron Warriors, it was only 162. It was 212 for a full army, almost, of chemists. And then it goes up even more if you're using him with the logistics buff. So great for sieging. Awesome for sieging. All right, let's finish up this video, though. So you guys, again, your bases have a lot of health. I'm a tier 10 base, right? Max level. 1,200,000 health, right? Same things apply. If the enemies take the keep and you're in their land, they're going to always be able to do full damage to you. But if they won't be able to do full damage to you, they'll do 70% less to your base unless they're in a war stance. Their fellowship is in a war stance. Their fellowship. Not their whole faction, their fellowship, right? And again, same thing when you go to a keep. They have a certain amount. An enemy keep, you won't be able to see it. They'll only tell you a percent. But a good way to know how much health it has is look for a similar leveled keep, okay? I'll show you exactly what I mean right now. So this one has level 40 armies. 20 level 40 armies that you're going to have to kill, right? That's what keeps are hard to take. This one's 48. Let's look at a similar one. There we go. This is a similar one right here. 40 level 20 armies. Look at how much health the keep has, right? 25 million. All right. So once you take a keep, you take the whole region, and now you have full ability to take tiles without a siege reduction. Because tiles, you will not fully take a tile if you attack it with, like for example, if you're in war and you attack with a 5 army on a 1 tile. I've not been able to take it before when we're not in war stance, which would be in 6 minutes. So it kills the army and leaves the 1 tile with like a tiny sliver of health, and you have to hit it again. It's really annoying when you're trying to travel. And again, the point of sieging, guys, what's the point of sieging? Right? Knock out an enemy base, knock out an enemy fort, right? Take out their tiles, because again, you can only travel when you're on tiles. That's why there's choke points. I have a whole video on choke points, you guys, where I actually did like a whole like drawing thing of like all the choke points in the lower right half of the map around Mordor and Gondor. If you guys want to see that video, it's pretty cool. I'm yet to do more of the whole video, but for more parts of Middle-earth. I might in the future. But anyway, guys, I just want to talk about sieging because it's a real simple concept for us people who play a lot. We're like, oh, I just take that point, right? Oh, I need a certain amount of, okay, let's see. I'm taking this 40 power tile. I need an army that can do this much damage and then siege it, right? You know what I mean? And usually when you have a full army above level 10, you're going to be able to take a 1 tile, even if you don't have the siege buff and you're in someone else's land. But if you are in your land, it's going to be easy to take the tiles, right? But again, they do, I believe, increase in health depending on the tile's health. So for example, a tier 1 tile here, you can see when you own it, right? You can't if you don't. A tier 1 right here is 10,000, right? But for this one, 130 tile, oh, there you go. There's your answer. They are the same. Tiles are the same. They're all just 10,000. But again, you won't be able to take the tile if you're not in war mode and you don't have the full damage. For example, let me look one more time and I'll show you exactly what I mean one more time to finish up the... So let's look at Faramir here. So you notice his attack is 25 siege, right? That's obviously going to be hard to take the tile with that, right? So I wonder, I'm curious why I was able to take it with Legolas now. Let me try to take this one with a... I'm just curious now. I think it's because we're in war stance. Find out right now. So again, it'll be easy to take out the tiles because normally when I attack with a Eagle 5, I could do 1 tiles real easy, but it's harder to do other ones. I might try to take this 10 tile and it might show that. All right, I'm gonna take this 10 tile now with the same character. Oh, well, that's a bummer. They're having the reset because the new season is coming out. So anyway, we're gonna stop there, my friends, for the siege video. I think you get it across. So, main things you need to know, guys, for siege, all right? The main things are as follows. The siege damage buff for fellowships, right? So you get a 70% reduction in land that isn't owned by your keep, if you're on someone else's land, to attacking tiles, attacking their forts, attacking beast camps, attacking everything. So you have to attack when you have the fellowship buff on. And of course there's a cooldown, so that's why there's a cooldown. It gives people a chance to do stuff on their own land, defend their own land. And then if you're in, and then you have to have a certain amount of whatever units, make sure you look for the little catapult icon that tells you your unit damage for sieging. So that's what's important. And remember, you can't move until you're connected with someone else's tile in your faction or in one of your fellowships. So that's important, right? So that's why you have to move up together while you take tiles, right? For sieging. And again, sieging forts, it's good to use like Hirgon with maybe some chemists or guardians or Bjornings or all those different guys that have high siege. Ents, right? Those are all very high siege units. Other units have good siege too. Just compare them, put them in armies. Hirgon has the buff to siege army units, which is great. So that's what I would say with sieging. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a little siege video. I know that was just basically me talking about it, but I hope that helped you out if you're new to the game. And I hope that you will have a wonderful day in Middle-earth, my friends. And we'll have some more fun content of RiseToWar coming out soon. I just thought that would be kind of good to talk about. What is sieging? How does it work? Attacking keeps, their health versus armies versus the health of the keep or the fort, that kind of thing, right? All right, thank you so much. Thank you to my Patreon. Thank you to MrRevel for supporting as a royal level Patreon. You guys are all awesome. Have a wonderful day in Middle-earth. Next up, subscribe button's be right there. Be awesome. Do a like. Next episode is going to be up there in the top left with more RiseToWar stuff that might be a little more entertaining than this for RiseToWar. And down there is my main content, a Lotr tale, which is definitely probably more entertaining than me just talking about siege buffs. Have a wonderful day in Middle-earth, my friends, and I'll see you in the next episode of Voice of the Rings.